And we're live, I think. I hope you guys realize this intro is never going to get any smoother because, like, there's a thing that says live, but I don't know if I'm live. I should have probably asked for questions on Facebook, but this is starting. Basically, I put it at the wrong time by accident, so I don't know if anyone's going to be here the first little bit. I'm just going to post on Facebook. Guys, we're live. Post. So yeah, I put the wrong time. So some of you, oh no, I posted that to my personal Facebook because I do have a personal Facebook. Delete post. Okay, yeah, it's deleted. Post. Guys, yeah, live. Okay. Okay, so none of you are here yet. Yeah, none of you are here yet. So I'm just going to answer some questions while we wait. I wouldn't be surprised if very few people turn up because, like I said, did put it at the wrong time and date. I accidentally put it for 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. It was supposed to be 6 p.m. tonight. That's not 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So let's, you know what, I'm going to answer some questions from my comics Q&A thing while I wait. I'm going to do that for about 5 minutes while I wait for people to turn up. Yeah, so let's view previous comments. Okay. Have you heard of Vampirella? Yes, I have. What are your thoughts on her? While I've heard of her, I don't know much about the character, I'm going to be honest. I think I'm thinking of the right character. Googling with Faust quickly. Vampirella. Yeah, I do know this character. I have no real thoughts on the character, but I don't really know her that well. But I recognize her. I recognize her. I think one of my half-brothers had a poster of her at one point. Do you think Marvel's Secret Wars event will be worth reading? I do think it will be worth reading because it's highly experimental. It's definitely going to be the start of a new era of the Marvel Universe, unless they kind of realize, oh, wait, this will change everything. Let's kind of go back on ourselves. Because they've done that before, which is a bit of a shame. But I say give it a read. You know, you never know how good or bad something's going to be until it's over. Like, until the final issue comes out and everyone's like, right, that's it, it's over. You don't know how good or bad it's going to be. Do you think the Marvel Cinematic Universe will include a movie about Falcon as Captain America or the female Thor? No, I don't, honestly, because the Cinematic Universe, like the storylines it kind of likes to adapt or cherry pick from, are all about 10 to 20 years old. So maybe in about 10 to 20 years' time, on some of the storylines it likes to adapt are from like the 40s, actually, and from the golden age of comics and stuff like that. So to be fair, we won't see Falcon as Captain or female Thor for about another 10 to 20 years if we're still doing superhero movies then, which we might not be. Which, you know, isn't bad, you know, because cinema goes in cycles, I've noticed, and it just goes, from what I can see, sort of like supernatural in the sense of magic, then you've got supernatural in the sense of vampires, werewolves, and then you got dystopian future movies, but with those movies comes superhero movies, like as part of the package, and then it goes back to magic, and then vampires, werewolves, that kind of thing, and then back to dystopian future movies. And we're currently in the dystopian future phase. And after that kind of bursts, there will be a slow fade out of superhero movies, I think. Like, they'll definitely be there because a lot of them have quite a lot planned, but I think they'll just kind of be slightly more quiet, a bit like how cartoon movies that aren't Disney princess movies are at the moment. They're all just kind of there, kind of quiet. Okay. Do you ever watch smaller comic book YouTube channels? I don't have time to watch that much YouTube these days, honestly. I'd like to be shown some smaller comic book YouTube channels. I consider myself quite a small channel, though. That's the thing. So what do you mean by small? Because I consider this quite a small channel, as much as I'm amazed at how much it's grown, and 50,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough. That it's insane. But I'm still, at the end of the day, quite a small channel. And unless you mean like 1,000 to 2,000 subscriber channels, in which case I'm not subscribed to anyone that's got that. But if a channel's got good content that I enjoy, and I'll go through a lot of videos to watch, I'll probably subscribe. I think I subscribed to Comic Book Girl 19 when she only had like 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers. So I definitely do subscribe to smaller channels. I have been subscribed to her for quite a while, and I still really want to collab with her. She's one of my sort of favorite YouTube creators. Like, honestly, if you like good editing in videos, go watch Comic Book Girl 19. Her stuff is just so good. Like, she doesn't do the editing. It's her partner, T-Bone, Tyson. He voices like her best friend robot. It's a good show. It's a good show about comics. If you like comics, go watch Comic Book Girl 19. In comic book channels in general, I watch Comic Book Girl 19. I've been watching a lot of people that I've seen in the DC host search. And there's quite a few that I've been aware of for a while. That I haven't really, like, I've forgotten his name, which makes me feel bad. But one of them, I've forgotten his name, and I feel so guilty because he was so nice to me in a recent video. But one of them, if you know who I'm talking about, maybe, probably not. He has Superman on his DC host search thumbnail. He was really nice to me recently, and I, a while ago, wanted to do a podcast. And I saw this podcast in a vision, and there were going to be 3 frequent hosts: myself, Amy Dallon, and this guy that I can't remember the name of, and I feel so guilty for that because I know his name. I do know it. I was talking about him earlier today to a friend, and I knew his name then, but I don't know it now. But no, I had this vision of a podcast of us 3, and they, like, them two are quite busy people, so they couldn't do it, which is a shame. And I'm one of those people where if I get a vision of something and I can see it being good, I don't tend to compromise. Which is kind of why I like to work on my own quite a bit, and sometimes I'm not all that accepting of advice. What are the current comics that you're reading, and what would you absolutely not recommend? There's nothing coming out at the moment. No, that's not true to say. I would absolutely not recommend Clarion, because I know a lot of people like to read comics for the story, not just the art alone. I'm still reading it because I love the art alone. If you do like art alone, definitely read Clarion. But it's kind of like the only title at the moment that I would just say, don't bother. As for Marvel, I'm not reading much Marvel at the moment, if I'm honest, because everything's kind of feeling a bit editorial, a bit businessy on their end for me at the moment. And DC's kind of breaking out. It's like Marvel and DC have kind of swapped, because Marvel, when Marvel Now happened, became a bit airy-fairy and a bit sort of experimental, and DC was sort of like in this businessy rut that tends to put me off, so I was reading a lot more Marvel at that point. But now they've kind of swapped, so I'm now currently reading a lot more DC and a lot less Marvel. Like I've been saying for a while now, I'm about 7 or 8 months behind on X-Men titles because it just felt so businessy. But I've got every issue of the Storm series, and I read the first issue, and I've got every other issue since then. I just haven't read them, which is pretty bad. Oh, okay, people are here. I've just checked, and people are here. Hi, everyone. What are your thoughts on the Constantine television series so far? Well, while I do wish they said his name right, they said it Constantine. At first, I was a bit like, oh no, it's happening again. But I'm enjoying the editing on it. I'm enjoying it on a technical level. I'm enjoying it a lot on a technical level, actually. And I'm looking forward to it because it's slowly warming up. The same with Gotham, actually. At first, I was like, oh no, not again, not again. But on a technical level, I'm quite enjoying Gotham, and I'm slowly kind of warming up to it. Flash, I prefer Flash to Arrow, but as you all know, I'm not a huge fan of Arrow, if I'm honest. I'm not a fan of Green Arrow as a character to begin with. Like, sometimes I like Green Arrow, but most of the time I'm just like, so that kind of had me against like Arrow to start with. Whereas Flash, I really like Flash, and I still say that is the worst costume design in all live-action superhero adaptation. Like, it's the worst costume design. But when you do Flash, you need to have sort of like a sports-looking costume, and no one's going to be the fastest man alive in leather. They're just going to be the most chafed man alive. So I don't know. I don't like Flash in terms of costume design, and costume design is a huge thing for me as a person. As a cosplayer, it's a huge thing for me. And also I'm kind of into fashion design as well. So that kind of put me off a bit, but other than that, no, I'm enjoying what's coming out from DC. Oh, the chat's just flying up. Guys, I'm not answering anything to do with my hair. It's silver, as you can see, and it's silver for a little bit. And when it changes, it will change back to the red and blue because I really liked the red and blue. If you had to pick one character from any comic book, who's your favorite? Tim Drake. Tim Drake is my favorite comic book character of all time. Love Tim Drake. Do you think the current Marvel Universe, what do you think of the current Marvel movie universe, and do you think that they could ever get X-Men or perhaps Spider-Man into the universe in the future? If they acquire the rights back, there is no reason why there shouldn't like be a crossover. It's just a case of the rights. Because like Spider-Man is the biggest movie franchise in the world. Like, put Spider-Man on the front of a movie, so many people are going to go and see that, regardless of how bad the movie is. It's like a Michael Bay situation. So, it's worrying, honestly. I heard that after they finish 2 more X-Men movies, though, there is a high chance that the rights will just go back to Marvel. But apparently the next X-Men movie is going to be set in the 80s. And if that is true, Dazzler might be in it. Now, I'm not one to say that they have to put a certain character in the movie, but they have to put Dazzler in that movie. and they have to get her right, because Dazzler isn't dark. She isn't like, oh, I'm Dazzler. She's, I'm Dazzler. Like, she's there. She's got this presence. She can create light from sound. She is a light bringer, and she's a cool character. I wish more people would realize that. How do you feel about the Cyborg movie? It's a risky move. I'm going to be honest, it is a risky move because honestly, in my personal point of view, Cyborg is not a strong enough character to carry his own movie. That being said, movies do kind of stray away from the source material quite a bit when they're doing comics. It's something called comic book shame that the movie are still kind of experiencing. I hope it's not an origin movie. That I would be quite irritated by, because I'm sick of origin movies. And I just hope that they write Cyborg in a way where he's strong enough to carry his own movie. And if he's not strong enough to carry that movie on his own, I hope while it's about Cyborg and told from the point of view of Cyborg, there are quite a few other characters around him. So rather than just being a Cyborg movie, it's going to be sort of like Cyborg's point of view while he's in a team. That I could see working quite well. He did have his own comics for a while. He did have 2 limited series, or maybe it was 3 limited series, or maybe it was 1 limited series. I don't remember. He's not one of my favorite characters, if I'm honest. It'd be interesting to see what they do with him. What do you think about the Toy Story 4 being announced, especially when it comes out at the same time as the Wonder Woman film? I don't mind. People that are going to see a Wonder Woman movie are not the same people that would go to see a Toy Story movie, and the same way the people that go to see a Toy Story movie are not necessarily the people that would go to see a Wonder Woman movie. I know personally, probably going to see them both. Actually, no, here's a sad truth. I haven't seen Toy Story 3 yet. So many people tell me I should watch it. Thing is, I wasn't a Disney child. I was brought up more in Warner Brothers productions and sort of DreamWorks studio stuff and animations that weren't by Disney. Or if I did watch a Disney animation, it was more like their classics, like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and all of the, or Sword in the Stone, like they're really old stuff. But I was more into like watching Space Jam growing up. I was more into those types of movies. My favorite movie growing up was actually The Dark Crystal from the Jim Henson Company. I don't know if Disney published that though. Let's Google that actually. The Dark Crystal Wiki. It was distributed by Universal Pictures. I think they're owned by Time Warner. Universal Time Warner. Universal. Okay, so maybe Time Warner don't own Universal. Maybe they used to. Apparently, Time Warner owns something called the Universal Wrestling Corporation. That's interesting. I love Time Warner though. But yeah, I was more into sort of Warner Brothers stuff. How do you feel about Jenna Malone being Carrie Kelly for the Batman vs Superman? And how do I feel about Carrie Kelly in Batman vs Superman? I'm happy about it. I'm happy to see a female Robin in there, and I'm happy to see it sort of like educating people. And it kind of goes into my theory of the TV show and the movies in the DC universe are going to be like a multiverse. And since Batman vs Superman is kind of following like the Dark Knight, I do think that we will see a Batman that uses guns, and as a result, it's probably going to be Earth 2. And the rest of the universe and the TV universe is like Earth 1. Eventually, when they do cross over, we're going to get like the film adaptations of Crisis on Earth 1, Crisis on Earth 2, Crisis on Earth 3. And eventually, when they want to restart their universe, I'm hoping that they do a film adaptation of Crisis on Infinite Earths. That will be so much fun to see, especially if it's done right, and especially if we have the technology to do it right later on. And then we can sort of have fun, truly comic booky movies. That's what my hope is. Faust, I wasn't sure if you mentioned it before, but is blonde your natural hair color, or is it also a dye? My natural hair color is a color that is very close to black. So I bleach my hair, but I haven't grown out my natural hair color since I was about 13 or 14. Yeah. Do I have a favorite anime? If so, which one? My favorite anime kind of just changes with the wind. There are quite a few that I go back to. I watch Nichijou quite a bit. At the moment, I'm really enjoying Sailor Moon Crystal. I'm going to be honest. I'm loving Sailor Moon Crystal. And for all of you asking, yes, this is Diet Red Bull. I'm not drinking it because I want to. I'm drinking it because I'm going to be up till like... It's looking like 4 or 5 in the morning. I have 4 videos to edit because I filmed all of my videos for the next week today, because basically I want all of next week to be getting ready for Hyper Japan, and part of that is working on my cosplay because I'm entering a competition. And I'm not sure what the prize for the competition is, but there's rumors flying around that it's going to be a trip to Japan, which, come on guys, trip to Japan. I want that. You would want that. So I filmed all my videos at once and I'm editing them all up at once. And I'm going to schedule, upload them. So I just have all that time to work on the costume. And I will definitely be reading your guys' comments over the next week because I read all of them. Yes, all of them. But no, I'm looking forward to it. With anime and manga rising in popularity in America, do you ever think they'll be able to compete with comics and their movie universes? I don't think there's really a competition there. If you see that, it's your own perspective. But like anime and manga, they're doing their own thing, and comics are like this extended, massive universe that's all interconnected from each and every title. Whereas anime and manga, for the most part, isn't this massive extended universe. It's like a title, and that tells the story that has a start, a middle, and a finish, which isn't bad. It's just another way of storytelling. And having this massive extended universe where you see like windows of it in 52 or 60 different titles every month is another way of storytelling. 2 totally separate things. There isn't a competition there. You don't need to be thinking like that, in my point of view. How did you feel about, and did you like the Static Shock cartoon? I really liked the Static Shock cartoon. I think I mostly liked the theme song. I didn't like his superhero costume, I remember that. Thing is, I hadn't read the Static comics in quite a while at that point. So I didn't initially catch on to the fact that the Static comics were the Static cartoon was an adaptation of the Static comics, because I forgot about them. And then I was watching the cartoon and was like, all of this seems very familiar. All of this seems very familiar. Especially him, the main character, he seems very familiar. I must have had this in a dream one time. What do you think a good comedic comic series is? I really like Harley Quinn. I think that's a very good comedy. Yeah, really enjoying Harley Quinn. I think this Squirrel Girl series that's going to be coming up sounds fantastic. I'm not really a Deadpool fan, but lots of people like that for the comedy. I'm just not a Deadpool fan in general. I don't like the core of the character, so I don't really like his titles. And then, but lots of people think Deadpool's great, so I guess that should be mentioned at least because you might think it's great. I know I'm in the minority of people that don't like Deadpool. And then, I guess there's stuff like Bee and Puppycat and Adventure Time, those kind of comics, those are very funny. Have you read Andrew Hussey's Homestuck webcomic? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? I haven't read Homestuck. No, I don't have the time to dedicate to it. I've got nothing wrong with people that read Homestuck, though. Lots of people hate on Homestuckers, and I don't understand why. But I don't have anything against people that hate Homestuck, that like Homestuck. It's just not for me. Just not for me. Guys who are asking me about the Constantine TV series and the Gotham TV series and the Flash TV series, rewind back to the beginning of this AMA, because I think that was like one of the first questions I answered when I started paying attention to the chat. So just thought about a bit in the first like 10 minutes or so, and you'll find the answer there. Who do you think the hardest existing comic book character to write for? Oh, who do you think would be the hardest existing comic book character to write for? It'd probably be like, I always say Superman's really hard to write. Because what do you do with an icon that is all powerful? Like, what do you do with that? That hasn't already been done. If I were to write Superman personally, I'd personally rather write the old universe Superman, though, because although he would be harder to write, it would be, I don't know, the Superman the Superman in the old universe was fun. But if I got to write Superman in the New 52, I'd bring back the briefs, I'd have a whole story arc about why he has the briefs, and make it so good that to remove the briefs in the future would just be sacrilegious. That you can't remove Superman's briefs. Faust wrote this one story that is so good. That's like saying Jack Kirby's Fourth World doesn't exist, which you just do not do. Who is your least favorite magic user in comics? Don't know what that noise was. Least favorite magic user? Probably Zatanna. I like Zatanna as a character, don't get me wrong. I just find her magic very boring in comparison to all the other fantastic things magic users do. Naruto ending reaction. I don't read Naruto, but I did read the ending and a bit confused, not gonna lie, but I haven't read it since I was about 14, and now I'm in my mid-20s. Yeah. Do you have an idea for our original character? I have ideas for our original characters all the time. I'm always writing. Hold up. Let me show you. Let me show you. Da-da-da. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Let's see if I can get this window up so I can get a better idea of how you'll be able to see it. Can you guys... no, you can't really see it, damn it. I have basically a 4-page note on my iPhone that's just filled with ideas for characters. Some of these are existing characters. Like, you know, at the end of most of my history videos, I say, oh, I would do this with this character. It's all in there. That's all in there. Because I don't know, I just have these ideas and I think, just jot them down. and if I jot them down, it's not in the idea space anymore, and no one can have it. How old were you when I first read comics? I first started reading comics in the very, very early 90s. I don't like giving away my age, because if I give away my age, I will grow old on the spot and die, and get fat, which none of you will want to see, obviously. But no, I first started reading comics in the very, very early 90s, and yeah, so it's been a long time, long time. Is it a bad idea to have Joker in another film that's not Batman? No, the Joker can be expanded just like any other character. I think that's an interesting idea. I think people link the Joker so much to Batman that we haven't really seen him do anything other than go after Batman. And I don't think it's a good idea. No, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I don't care about One Piece, put bluntly. I don't like it. What do I think about the Marvel Comics Attack on Titan crossover? I don't care. Put bluntly, literally couldn't care less because I didn't like Attack on Titan. I watched 7 episodes and I tried reading the manga as well to see if I preferred that, and I just didn't like it. And that's okay, because sometimes people don't like things that are popular, and sometimes people like things that are unpopular. Are you getting the Persona Q pre-order bundle with the tarot cards and stuff? I won't be, because I can't afford it. But if someone wants to donate to my PayPal, my email... I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Do I think Free Iwatobi Swim Club can actually be taken seriously? Depends how much you like muscular men in swimwear. I like muscular men in swimwear quite a lot. So I take Free quite seriously. If you were writing New 52 Harley Quinn, what would you do with her? I honestly would just continue with what's already being done. Just have her going on like misadventures in this sort of small area. I think that just kind of fits her really well. Yeah, I enjoy what's going on with her quite a bit. Okay, let's... Can I do a Mon-El video? I don't know. Can I? Would it be okay if DC would bring back the pre-New 52 and that the New 52 be another universe if they did it with the Golden Age? Are you talking about with exactly what I said in the video regarding that, where I said just publish both series side by side? In which case, yeah. How to fix Aquaman? You clearly have not read an Aquaman comic in the past 5 years. Are you reading Grayson? Yes, I am. If you are, what are some things that you like about it? What are some things you don't? I just don't like it at all. I find the art to be very inconsistent. I don't like the writing. I feel like the writing doesn't understand who the core of this character is. So no, I don't. I just don't like Grayson at all. So why am I still buying it? Because I have a rule that you buy a series for at least 5 issues. If you still don't like it at the end of those 5 issues, you give up there. But you don't just judge it on like 4 issues or 3 issues. Judge it on 5. With the majority of comic book characters changing and being rebooted over time, is there one particular character who you feel has changed the least in their existence? Probably Stephanie Brown. Like, if we're going to talk like slightly bigger named characters, probably Stephanie Brown, because she disappears quite a bit, and when she does come back, while she always seems to take on a new mantle, at her core, she's always Stephanie. She's always Stephanie. Aquaman is still being hatted by the mainstream. How do you react? It's mainstream, they're not going to understand comics. How is your day today? My day is very stressful, but thank you for asking. I've just got a lot on my mind. So much on my mind. What movie or movies are you most excited to see? Comic book characters or not? Very behind on movies at the moment. I'm only really aware of comic book movies at the moment. I'm excited for the next sort of X-Men movie because, like I said earlier, I want Dazzler in it. And then Wonder Woman movie, when I heard that, my butt went. I love Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's one of my favorite characters. Yeah. There are a lot of comic book movies that I'm excited for. The Doctor Strange movie, but I've heard that they might be casting Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and I do not see this because Doctor Strange has to have this sort of dark presence about him. And when I look at Benedict Cumberbatch, I just can't help but thinking about me and my friends have this joke called Benedict Cumberfaust, which is where I go. And it's my Benedict Cumberbatch impression. And I can't take him seriously. And Doctor Strange, I just take so seriously. So that worries me. I'm hoping it's only a rumor because I haven't looked into it that much. What do you think of Convergence? I've got a video coming out about that, not next week, but the week after. Do you think Batman's true love is Catwoman or Talia? I don't think Batman can actually be with anyone because he's too sort of mentally sick. He's too self-obsessed, mentally sick, if that makes sense. When you had blonde hair, was it a wig or your real hair? Well, I was going to show you, but it's not up there anymore. It was a wig. You can see it in the background of my first 4 AMAs. Was it first 3? My first 3 AMAs. You can actually see it in the background on top of the wardrobe. So that answers that question. It was a wig. I wore it because my hair was very, very, very damaged. To the point where like this side was like this long, but this side was this long. I've got a thing about hair that's really, really short, so I'd rather have sort of uneven, damaged hair rather than just buzz all my hair off. So I had to wait a while, let it heal, and then I did the red and blue split thing, and I was so happy. So happy with that. And I kind of miss it, if I'm honest. But I'm going to let this run its course. Just going to let this run its course, and then go back to the red and blue. What do you think DC will do with Green Lantern in future movies? I don't know, honestly. I would be interested to see what they do with a Green Lantern movie. The thing about the Green Lantern is that he's such a huge character that relies on special effects, and it's easy to do that in comic because there's like the limit is what the artist can draw. Whereas in movies, you have to think about how do we make this? Do we make this with a practical effect or do we use CGI? And the Green Lantern is going to be mostly CGI. And even now, our technology is not at the point where we could make a mostly CGI movie and make it seem effective. I mean, everyone remembers the first Hobbit movie when they did it in 60 FPS, and everything just looked like a set, and all the CGI was totally not believable. So we're still at that point. The CGI technology has not improved all that much in the past few years. We're kind of like stuck at a point. So it'll be interesting to see when our like at the closer to the point where we're making sort of like a movie like that. If Marvel had a universe in which Storm and Thor had children together, would you agree with that? If not, why? Why would I disagree with that? I'm always the person that says, this is comic books. Anything has the right to happen so long as the characters stay true to who they are at the core. When it comes to Storm, if she is being loved and treated well by Thor, I don't see why she wouldn't be with him. And when it comes to Thor, if he genuinely felt something there for Storm, I don't see why he wouldn't be with her. I don't see why the two of them wouldn't have kids if they felt that strongly with each other. Let's not talk about myself, Derek Justin. Let's not. In about 10 years, do you think even more Marvel characters will be introduced in the cinematic universe, like Nova? Yeah, definitely in 10 years. 10 years is a long time. Like, 10 years is enough time to be age from a baby to 10 years old. Yeah, I think loads of characters could be introduced. I would love to see a new Warriors movie, but I've had this idea for a new Warriors movie for a long time. An entire, like, fictitious new Warriors movie that is shot like a reality TV show. I think that would be so much fun. I want to see that. But I don't know. Superhero movies tend to sort of like, there's the point, and for a long time it was like, here's the point, here's the superhero movie. And now it's kind of like, here's the point, here's the superhero movie. It's just kind of slightly missing it. So JSA or JLA, two different titles that serve two different jobs. I don't know why you're comparing. Do you ever see Harley leaving the Joker? I have for quite a few issues now. They're all back there. Been released since earlier this year. The title's called Harley Quinn. Who do you think should be in the JLA if Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman left? Black Canary, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Black Canary would be there, definitely. I'd quite like to see Oracle in it as well. And probably Supergirl. Yeah. Hi Faust, how is the gym and nutrition part of your Becoming Robin project going? Nutrition's going well as always. I'm drinking Red Bull just now, just like I said, but today is a cheat day, so I let myself this is a wild time, an apple. I'm saving my cheat day because this weekend I'm in London, well not this weekend, next week. I'm in London for Hyper Japan. Which means on the Saturday, I'm probably going to go out for Korean food, and then on the Sunday, I'm going to go out for Japanese food, which aren't like the worst foods that you can have, especially Korean food. Korean food's actually really good for you, but it's still not on my regime. As for the exercise, hold on. You probably can't tell on what's in these, but this is a singlet. And these are stirrup pants because at the beginning of next month, starting gymnastics and acrobatic training, so I had to get the uniform. I'm really looking forward to that. Every 3 to 4 hours, though, I have to stop what I'm doing and just do a 15 to 20-minute stretching session, which disrupts my day a little bit, I'm going to be honest. But it's worth it, because I'd rather do that now than get to the gymnastics and be like, well, I'm already a really flexible person because I did ballet for 14 years, but I'm still not as flexible as I could be, especially not anymore, because as much as it stays with you, it goes away a little bit at least. So yeah, I'm just working on stretching out, becoming flexible, becoming bendy, and I'm looking forward to that. Who would you like to see play Storm instead of Halle Berry? Halle Berry, oh. A no name, actually. No names. I want more no names in superhero movies. We got a comment on the link that I shared, apparently. Let's look at it. Getting any closer for characters like Wolverine, for videos and characters like Wolverine or Namor, etc. You can always see how close we are to that by checking out my Patreon. We actually took a bit of a nosedive recently because, you know, one of my patrons had to drop out, which is fine. You know, we all face financial hard times, and you do have to drop out sometimes. That is fine. I do not resent people for that. You have to do what's best for you, and this person obviously did that, but it means we're not really close to it anymore, which is a shame. But I don't mind. I don't mind. People have to do what's best for them. Who is the most supportive fan at the DC host thing? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but like, who has retweeted or reblogged my thing the most? So many people have retweeted it and reposted it. I wouldn't like to single anyone out as like, oh, you did it the most, you did it the most, because so many people have been so supportive. Like, hundreds of you have been so supportive and really want to see me in DC All Access, and I hope I get the job. I'm not gonna lie, I really want it. I know I could do the job and really want it, and that's the truth of it. I wouldn't have entered unless I really wanted it. And it would be nice to see an out gay, non-American person on that show. You know? You know, and British is in at the moment, I think. Are we still trendy? Our island? How does the colonies see us? I'm kidding. No, but seriously, how do you still see us in America? Because for a while, you know, being British was quite trendy. I hate British. Being English was quite trendy, but I'm not English. Being Scottish was quite trendy. Was being Scottish ever trendy? Don't even know what I'm saying. If you ever do a male Raven cosplay, will you use the wig that you use for your cosplay you are doing now? P.S. I love you blue and red hair, but have you ever thought of doing red and black as opposed to red and blue? I don't like doing black in my hair because it's my natural hair color, and I don't go to the bother of dyeing to just go back to my natural hair color. Whereas, so no, I'd always do red and blue. And if you mean my Manami cosplay, which is done, like it's over, finished, I wouldn't use that for a Raven cosplay. Actually, I'd probably just have Raven's hairstyle from the Teen Titans cartoon, because that's kind of androgynous. It'd work for boy and girl. How do I react to haters? I don't. I move on with my life, and if my only reaction is if someone is consistently posting negative things to me, or making, like, in a way that makes me feel less of a person or less of a human, I just ban them. I just ban them, block them across as many social mediums as possible, or at least on the one where they're posting that makes me feel like less of a human, and then I'm done with it and I can move on with my life. I don't allow myself to feel negative emotions when it comes to people that don't know me. Would you ever consider yourself cosplaying as Comic Book Girl 19? She's already doing daily cosplay as Quentin Quire. She's already, like, she is the gender bent female version of Quentin Quire. So I'd just be cosplaying Quentin Quire if I cosplayed her. Do DC and Marvel have branches in the UK? I think Marvel has a UK branch. DC is owned by Time Warner. There are Warner Brother London offices, so I guess that could be considered DC's branch in the UK. The thing is, just so many of DC's writers are from the UK, but they fly over to America to go and work with DC. So that's the part that kind of confuses me. Will Miles Morales have a Spider-Man movie? I don't know. I don't work for Fox or Sony Pictures, whichever one it is. And will Spider-Man join the Avengers in Infinity War? No, because the Spider-Man is currently not owned by Marvel Movie Studios. He's owned by Sony and Fox. And guys, I'm not doing individual shout-outs for those of you that are saying, give me a shout-out. I don't do that. It's not my style. Have you played the Batman Arkham games? I have all of them, actually. No, wait, I don't have Arkham City. I have a few of them. I got them off of Humble Bundle, but then I also got this Robin costume for it, and then it said I didn't have the game for the Robin costume, so that was the one Arkham game that I didn't have, and then I was like, I don't know what that noise was. Do you think blackface is acceptable? No. When doing editorial cosplay. No, here's the thing that I want to clarify about editorial cosplay, and it's something that I needed clarifying. When it comes to editorial cosplay, here's race, here's editorial cosplay. They don't even cross over. You can cosplay anyone in editorial cosplay, regardless of race, so long as your body matches theirs. But your skin color doesn't need to match theirs. There's where the distinction is. If the character is naturally darker than you can fake tan, definitely. If the character is naturally paler than you, just try and get as pale as you can before doing the cosplay. But you don't need to worry about like doing whiteface or blackface, because whiteface is also unacceptable, guys. There's something, that's a distinction. Blackface isn't acceptable, and so is whiteface. And don't tell me I'm wrong there, because you're wrong if you think whiteface isn't acceptable. Will you ever finish the Bravely Default series you started? No, honestly. I don't do video game histories anymore, because they were a lot of work for very little payoff, and by that I mean, while I enjoyed making them, the video game community is a lot less accepting than the comic book community, at least in what my experience was in making video game history videos. And I just don't want to be involved in that. So I stopped making video game history videos. And also because I just really wasn't enjoying it anymore in comparison to the comic book ones, whereas I have so much fun making comic book history. And video game history, I was like, oh, okay, it's done. Whereas comic book history, I'm like, what's happening next with this character? What else could be done? And then I have all these ideas for this character because they've been on my mind for so long. And I never got that with video game histories. So there's a lot of lack of personal payoff and enjoyment, and then the community around video games just didn't make it fun. So it just wasn't worth doing it anymore. And then also very few people watched my video game history videos in comparison to the comic book ones. And it's not about views when you truly enjoy making the video. Like my History of Enchantress, I expected next to no one to watch that. So I put it up expecting that to get like next to no views. And it got a lot of views, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah. Which Mega Evolution would you like to see in Pokemon? Which Mega Evolution would I like to see? I would like to see a Mega Pachirisu. I quite like Pachirisu. I like all the off-brand Pikachus. They're fun. If you could meet one dead person, who would it be? I would like to meet... Oh, I know. I would like to meet Jack Kirby. Because he believed you should do anything in comics and not allow there to be any limits. Just let it be imagination embodied in the physical realm. And I also believe that. And I feel like there's a lot that I could learn off of him. Do you watch Kamen Rider or Super Sentai? No. Do you like Resident Evil? No. What other history videos will you be making next? You'll know when they come out. I don't reveal what history videos that I'm doing before they're out. I think I told a few people at London MCM, but I was happy to just see people in real life. Okay. I'm just going through comments to see if anyone has asked comments directly. Okay, no one's asked comments directly. Okay, how many languages do you know, and which one would you like to learn? I am fluent in English, and then I can speak a bit of Japanese and quite a bit of French, actually. It always surprises me. I always surprise myself with how much French I know. It's just that I'm borderline dyslexic, so I can read really well, but my dyslexia is this weird form of dyslexia where it affects my writing, but only my writing. But I can type, which is good, but get me to write with pen and paper and I will be there for hours and hours. Just a bit annoying. Faust, when are you going to make Sexualization of Men Part 2? Eventually, when I feel like it. I know I said in the video like soon, but I don't know. I wrote this Part 2 and then I didn't really feel it. Yeah. Faust is an awesome name, although is it your maiden name or your given name? Well, I'm not married, and it's my first name, and it is my given name, in the sense that it was given to me. So yeah, Faust is my name. Are you eating enough? You have a skinnier face. It's called exercising. Because of this. I want to make sure that I got the right tone. Yeah, this. Yeah, it's exercise. When you exercise, this slims out, but all this beefs up. Oh. Is there any comic book, video game, or movie that you enjoyed very much as a child, but you don't own it anymore, but you would love to experience it again? Okay, so comic books as a child. It was Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol, but then I got those again. Because I didn't have the comics anymore. A video game. Croc, The Legend of the Gobos. Who knows that? That was a good game. Who are you a bigger fan of, DC or Marvel? I'm not a fan of companies. I'm a fan of characters. Like if the Teen Titans was over in Marvel, I'd be reading the Teen Titans there. If X-Men was over in DC, I'd be reading the X-Men there. I'm not a fan of titles. I'm a fan of characters. So, well, I'm not a fan of publishers. I'm a fan of characters. So Yeah, that's not really a question for me. Who do I read more of? Depends what's coming out at that time. At the moment, I'm reading way more DC than Marvel, but it hasn't always been that way. My life in comic books started out exclusively reading DC. I don't make a secret about that because all of my comics, when I first got into comics, were given to me. And they were all DC. They were all DC. Has any movie come close to bringing a comic book justice, if any? They haven't come close to bringing the comic books justice, like none of them have, but they've come close to being a good interpretation of their own thing. Well, they are a good interpretation of their own things. Yeah. What did you think about the Legion book? That Legion is so good. Like, I got that, then I bought a whole bunch of their other trades. I dipped into my personal savings. So if I ever have an accident, I'm screwed, but I've got Legion books. So, so yeah, I really like the Legion now. If you were given the task of making a superhero team, who would you put in it and what would the team be? I would put in a bunch of like C-list and lower characters. Sort of characters people have heard of but haven't really done much, like Enchantress, or I'd put all of them into a team. And I'd call it something like, I don't know, I'd give them a silly name. I'm a comedy writer, guys. Keep that in mind. I'm a comedy writer. Although the comic I'm writing at the moment is really serious, and I'm really liking how it's shaping up. I'm hoping to have it finished by the end of November, and then I'll just kind of give it off to a publisher and hope for the best. Hi, France. Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy? Why am I choosing between them when I can love them both? Why did you get white hair? Because I wanted it. Because I wanted it. Also, I could do a really good Jack Frost or Elsa impersonation. Whatever you decide. Are you looking forward to BVS? I don't know what BVS is. Do you answer personal questions or only comic book related? Depends on the personal question. If I have answered it way too many times or if I think it's silly, I won't answer it. Like, I won't answer, what kind of underwear do you wear? Because that's just silly. Did you think that the Teen Titans TV series on Cartoon Network did the characters they showed in it justice? Like, did they do a good job of representing the Doom Patrol or the Titans? It did a good job of representing the fun that can happen in the Titans books. It didn't do a good job of representing the characters for who they actually are in the comics at all. The Doom Patrol I found insulting, if I'm honest. Really liked the series as a whole, but that was not the Doom Patrol. At all. It wasn't even close. They should not have called them the Doom Patrol. That being said, the series was called the Teen Titans. It wasn't called the Doom Patrol. I'm happy there wasn't like a Doom Patrol spin-off because that would have just been insulting. And you'll find out very soon why that wasn't the Doom Patrol. But I've said too much by saying that. Oh, BVS, Batman versus Superman. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What type of pizza should I order? You should order every spicy thing, like everything that's spicy, with extra cheese, and call it regret. Because then you'll have constipation that is very, very hot. I quite like that, the sound of a pizza named Regret. Do you think Star Wars Episode 7 will be good? I think I've had to explain this in almost every AMA. I've never seen a Star Wars movie ever. Um, my fiance tried showing me Star Wars movies and fell asleep about 10 minutes in. And he tried showing me the older ones, even the ones that are 4, 5, and 6 are older, I think, even though and 1, 2, and 3 are newer. But yeah, I fell asleep. It's not that it wasn't good. It's just that I've explained. I know all the plot twists at this point. I know what Star Wars is about. I know the whole Luke, I am your father. I know all the jokes. And I haven't seen any of the movies. So the magic's just not there. The magic of Star Wars just isn't there these days. It's just too late. It's too late for me. For me. You enjoy your Star Warsiness. It's just not there for me. If you could reboot any character you hate, who would it be and why? Oh, this is a toughie. At the moment, it's Clarion. I want to give him his own series again. There's very few characters I hate, like hate. And I wouldn't want to reboot them because I absolutely hate them at their core. Like there are a couple of characters that I don't like what's going on with them at the moment, and I'd like to take them back to when I did like them, like Jubilee. I'd so love to take her back to when she had her powers. Do I like Sleepy Hollow? Yeah, I do actually. It's one of my favorite movies. The best part about my parents is when I was growing up, like age restrictions on movies and video games and comics didn't mean anything to them. So I saw some really messed up stuff growing up and with some gruesome movies. But because of that, I don't really have a censor on things now. And I think it's just going to make me a slightly stronger adult. And I think my parents were kind of aware, like, if they didn't show it to me in a safe environment, I was going to go and find ways to watch it myself. Because I was that kind of kid. What's the difference between magic and superpowers? Magic has to be honed from inside of you and sort of learn over time, and it's arcane and it's ancient and it's an energy force that comes from around you and you utilize it. Whereas superpowers are something that comes from inside of you. It's something that alters your molecular structure, whereas magic doesn't alter your molecular structure unless you're like a homo magi. In which case you've got magic in your blood, but it wasn't always in your blood. It was in your blood because of where your ancestors were. They were at the core of magic. There's the difference. Comic books written or based off of classical literature book. Your opinion? It could work. I don't see why it couldn't work. Yeah. Faust, what's your favorite food? Really into Korean food at the moment. Just all Korean food. Do I mean food with Koreans in it or food made in Korea? I'll let you decide. But just Korean food. Who's your favorite Robin? Tim Drake. Tim Drake is my favorite Robin. Okay, for all of you that are wondering, my favorite Robin order, my favorite Robin list goes Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, Dick Grayson, tied for second, Damien, Carrie Kelly, and Jason Todd. Those are my favorite characters as Robin. In terms of favorite characters in that list, it just goes Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, Jason Todd, Carrie Kelly. Like, that's how I see them as characters. Because, like, seeing them good as Robin, Jason Todd was the worst Robin. But he's a very good character, because I like them all. They're all in, like, my top 50. Like, all of them spread out in my top 50 characters. Which some of you might see as insulting, but, like, let's face it, I've probably got about a top 1,000. Like, that, if I really spent the time, I could list. How many times did you change your hair color? You mean over the course of my life? One year I went through 12 hair colors because I like to go for like really weird colors like green or blue, and those don't damage your hair when you have them. So I had like essentially one of those every other week. Will you ever do a video about your personal life, like a draw of my life or a Q&A? I am doing a draw my life when I hit 100,000 subscribers and not before then. Yeah, I've lived a life. That's all I'll say. Why is Jason Todd last? Jason Todd was the worst Robin, so much so that fans voted him to be killed. There's that. Like, that's just fact. Great character. Great character. Sucked as Robin so hard. Like, so hard. Like, he did not do the job of Robin at all. I think you have a world record for your hair colors. I don't think so, because most of my friends let's do similar things with their hair. I'm happy that I've got really strong hair though. Like, to get it to this, I had to strip my hair of the red and blue, because you can only do silver when your hair is white. So to do that, I had to get as much color as I could out with Head and Shoulders shampoo, because that strips hair color. It's not what it was made to do, but it's a side effect of it. And then I had to give it something called a bleach bath, which is where you make up bleach, hair bleach. You put in a bit of water, and you also put in a bit of Head and Shoulders shampoo, and you leave that in your hair for like an hour. And I did that twice, and then I had to give it a regular bleach, but with like a slightly weaker developer, and it all came out just fine. It's not damaged at all. So you take it slowly, and then you get it to white. But some people like to put on like the strongest developer, and they don't even water down their bleach, and their hair starts snapping out. It's like, of course it is. You're not doing it properly. You need to do it slowly and gently over the course of about 4 days. Could you do a better job at Robin than Jason did? No, because I'm a pacifist. I would be the worst superhero. Although I do say if I had superpowers, it will be energy manipulation, because I could use that energy as healing energy, or to help teleport people places, and I could assist them, but it wouldn't, like, I'd be sort of like a healer or a support kind of hero, as opposed to like punch you in the gut. I'd never do that. Faust, if your cat's near, can I see him or her? I'll go check. I'll go check where my cat is. You hold on, just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes, because I've also got to say hi to someone, because I heard them come in my house. But just 2 minutes. Take this as a quick break. You can go pee, go get snacks or something. I'm gonna go find my cat. So my cat's out. Didn't know. I got snacks though. I got peanuts. Well, they're not peanuts. It's a nuts and raisin mixed. Because that's what I can have. Everyone else in my family's eating fucking pizza right now. Does a banana count as a snack? Depends. Are you going to exercise after you've eaten it? Are you an Australian? No, I'm Scottish. So I'm just waiting for the thing to load up because it's moving so fast I can't read anything at the moment. So I'm just giving it a second. Oh, there we go. Do you like Red Hood and the Outlaws? Yeah, it's a good title. It's not a title that I'd say to someone, yeah, this is so good, definitely go out and read it, but I'm enjoying it. It's I'm keeping up with it and I'm reading it. What's my brother like? My brother's normal. Painfully so, but he's a good person. Normal, but a very good person. But so normal. Like so normal. Me and my, because I've got 3 brothers and 2 sisters. All 3 of my brothers are actually painfully normal. I don't talk to one of my brothers because of coming out's not easy to do. I don't know if you guys know that. That's all I'll say on that matter. But yeah, I don't talk to one of my brothers, but I'm really, really different in comparison to all 3 of my brothers. But to be fair, 2 of my brothers are about 20 years older than me. So they were going to be different, whereas my brother that I consider my full, like, because my other 2 brothers are half brothers, whereas my brother that I'm about to talk about is my full brother. Me and him are only 11 months apart in age, so we grew up like really similarly. We went to the same school for a long time. I got compared to him in academics and he got compared to me in arts, and we hated it because I was really good in arts and he was really good in academics, and it sucked. But then my sisters were really good in academics and he apparently got compared to my sisters a lot, and I never got compared to my sisters once. My sisters are Vietnamese as well, which is weird. It's not really weird, my parents adopted them. I love my sisters though. Do you have a situation where you had to perform as an interpreter? No. I'll tell you what I want, what I really want. So tell me what you want, what you really want. I really want a zig a zig. Ugh! Oh, I love you. I love your comments. Is the blonde wig? Is it the blonde wig that you turned grey, or is it a new wig? This isn't a wig. I don't know why you think this is a wig. Can Robin be A-list? The title of Robin is already A-list. The characters that have been Robin are not A-list. Opinions on the idea of a Young Avengers movie. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is not established enough to justify a Young Avengers movie yet. When they establish it more, I could see that working. Faust, can you see it? 10 trains all becoming one massive robot? No. And random is not funny. Kind of is. Just keep doing you. Will you play Persona 5 when it comes out on your gaming channel? Probably. I'm trying to focus on Final Fantasy 14 at the moment, because that was supposed to be a daily thing. The thing is, my plan was get 60 videos of that recorded and then just leave it for a bit and then do another batch of 60. It's not too hard when I was recording like 5 or 6 a day. I've gotten to someone like 40, and my PC is broken. The HDMI port in my NVIDIA graphics card has stopped working. Right now I'm doing live stream from my Mac, but that just leaves the Intel graphics card's HDMI port, which isn't a good idea to play a high-end game on, though lots of people do. So I need to try and get that fixed and just kind of give it into a shop and be like, fix it, because I don't know, but I'm also considering just getting a new computer. My name is spelt with a F-A, Setsuki17, F-A-U-S-T, Faust, not Faust. Thank you, I'm happy I got you into comics, Zeta TV. What computer do you have? I have, okay, so I've got 2 computers. The one that I use for all work and anything YouTube related is the 27-inch iMac. It's the best one that you can get out of them with all the top specs, because I'm that kind of bastard. And then my PC was actually the Alienware X51, with 1 terabyte hard drive, and I had like quite a high-end NVIDIA graphics card and 16 gigabytes RAM, because I'm that kind of bastard. It doesn't work anymore, so stressful. I don't know whether I should just replace the graphics card, but then I've got my eyes on a certain graphics card, and that's about £300, and I don't know how to open up a computer and replace stuff. No, I haven't seen Big Hero 6 yet. I want to, but I can't afford it this month. So I'll probably go, like, if it's still in the cinema, like early next month. We'll probably still be in the cinema. Things are in the cinema for ages these days. What did I think of the Death of the Family series? I really enjoyed Death of the Family. The only downside to it is that I felt it was a bit overshadowed by Damien's death that followed it. I feel like Damien's death just either should not have happened or should have been delayed for another year to... Yeah. Guys, please don't just put like a title of a comic then question marks, because that question just means nothing to me. Like, are you asking my opinion? Are you asking if I like it? Just ask full questions, or just... Random question, how tall am I? I'll tell you when I finish growing. I'm in my mid-20s and I'm still growing. Like, how ridiculous is that? And it's a pain on my wallet because I like designer clothing. I don't normally go out just wearing like a Robin t-shirt. I like brands like Alice and the Pirates and Baby the Star Shines Bright and Innocent World, and Buffalo Bill, and sort of Japanese brands in Gyaruo and OG. and it's because I'm still growing. I outgrow the clothes, and it's annoying. Do you prefer going to the cinema or watching movies at home? Depends what the movie is. Like, I got to see Maleficent recently, and I really enjoyed it at home. That was like an at-home movie for me because I know so many people didn't like it, but I quite enjoyed it. And I think I wouldn't have enjoyed it if I went to the cinema. Whereas, like, I went to go and see the Lego movie in the cinema, and I enjoyed that at the cinema because I was surrounded by so many people that were also having a really good time. V for Vendetta is being banned in certain countries. Does that make sense to you? Certain countries are afraid that if they see certain storyline, like people read certain storylines, there will be an uprising. Paranoid that if people start thinking for themselves, they will realize that they could just have an uprising and take over. The reasoning behind it does make sense, but it's also like governments trying to control people because governments are evil. Everyone, governments and are evil. Only 83 of us. Wow. Yeah, I scheduled this AMA for the wrong time, but it hasn't been like 83 as a whole. There's been people coming and going. It's gone up to 100 and then it's dropped down. So, what's your opinion on the upcoming Spider-Man and the X-Men series? It's interesting. I'll give it that. I'll just see what it's like when it comes out. This is an old movie. Have you seen the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland? That's not old. That's like 3-4 years, maybe 7. That's not old at all. What was your favorite character? I didn't like the movie. Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite stories of all time. It's kind of like just how trippy it is and how over the top and the madness of it is kind of suits how I see the world almost. Not 100%, obviously, but just the madness of it, I quite relate. I relate to, if that makes sense. And Alice just seems so disinterested through the movie. That Mad Hatter was not mad. He was just strange. He wasn't mad. Mad Hatter needs to be mad. And doing a Scottish accent at times is not mad. What was the best day of your life? I'll tell you when I've lived a bit more. Xbox One or PS4? I don't have either. In your opinion on your favorite comic series? Well, that would be the new Teen Titans from Marv Wolfman and George Perez. And my opinion is that it's my favorite comic book series. I love it. I read like at least one issue of it almost every day. Faust, do you like any of the live action DC TV shows? I actually answered that at the beginning of this AMA. So go back there and watch that. But for the second half of this question, and will you give the Titans and Supergirl a chance when it comes out? I give all things a chance. I never go into anything against it. I always go into everything hoping for the best, hoping that if I'm expecting it to be bad, that it proves me wrong. And I always go into like TV show, like even comics, I always go into TV shows and comics and stuff totally cold. Don't watch any trailers. I don't read any preview reviews about it. I'm going totally cold. What beginner comics do you recommend for a beginner in the time being? I don't recommend Harley Quinn anymore because we're too far in. Ms. Marvel, I'd still recommend. Gotham Academy, I'd actually recommend. That's quite a good one. Do you think DC or Marvel is going to make a novel? There have been novel adaptations of the storylines for years. Do you have any specific genre of music you listen to? I grew out of listening to like specific genres alone. Um, like when I was 17. For a long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah, I grew out of that. And now I just kind of, if I like the sound of something, I'll listen to it. So on my phone, I've got a lot of drag queens. I I like electronica, but like relaxing electronica, if that makes sense. Like music that sounds a bit like Daft Punk, had some children, took the children back in time, raised them for the first 16 years of their life in like hippie-filled 60s, then took them forward and then said, right, now make electronica music. Like that. Does your fiance share your love of comics? No. He knows nothing about comics. Uh, I don't mind that. Comics are a big part of my life, and he really, really likes like stuff that I have no interest in. Like he likes wrestling. I have my own sort of personal issues with wrestling that are very painful, painful memories. So he doesn't. I don't. I hate wrestling. But I don't mind him watching it. Just when I'm not around. How old are you? I'm in my mid-20s, and that's all you need to know. Do you like the new 52's Batgirl? If you mean the relaunch that just happened with the new creative team, yes, I love Batgirl at the moment. I love Batgirl. Batgirl is, yeah. Do you like dubstep? Dubstep's alright. Like, I don't say, oh, this is the genre that this is. I hate it. Like, I listen to a song and I judge songs based upon individual songs. Will you tell us about your fiance? No. And you will never see his face on this channel, and you will never find out his name, because I don't want any of you sort of finding him and associating him as Faust's fiance. I want him to be his own person and be able to exist on his own in his own space. Yeah. I don't want him ever being Faust's fiance. I always want him to be him. Do you like Doctor Who? The thing about Doctor Who is, I grew up with Doctor Who being pop culture, not geek culture. Like everyone watches Doctor Who here, so and it's in pop culture magazines. It's not in geek culture magazines, because that's what it is over in England. Over here in England, everyone watches Doctor Who. It's not geeky at all. It's not different to watch Doctor Who. It's not different to like it. It's just a pop thing. And then in America, Doctor Who somehow suddenly became a geek culture thing. Don't know how that happened. And I kind of understand. No, I don't understand it actually. I I understand the appeal to it. I just people freak out over it, like, oh, Donna looked at Doctor like this in one episode, so this means that. And I grew up with it just being it's Doctor Who. It's nice. At the end of the day, it's just Doctor Who. It's like custard. It's nice, but at the end of the day, it's just custard. Do you accept potato as your Lord and Savior? Random isn't funny, but if you find it funny, that's okay. Just, I don't find random funny. Have you ever done any cosplay before? Set to key 17, you're very behind and clearly haven't watched Becoming Robin. Guys, don't ask me questions about my fiance because I won't answer them, and it's quite rude of you to be trying to invade on my personal life like that. I've said all I will. Constantine and Doctor Strange, which is better? Why are you comparing? Like, why are you comparing two characters that are quite like are nothing like each other? Quite frankly, they both use magic. That's it. Faust, what do you think will happen first, Young Avengers or Titans in the DC universe or the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I would be surprised if there was a Titans movie if this Teen Titans TV show flops. Young Avengers movie, don't see happening until the Marvel Cinematic Universe is much more fleshed out. If you could direct your own superhero movie, which superhero would you choose? Well, the director doesn't choose. The director is hired. But if I could be hired to direct a superhero movie, I would like to direct. I'd quite like to do a Robin movie. I think a Robin movie. How many conventions have you been to? Like individually, I've been going to MCM twice a year since about 2007, 2008, something like that. So that's 2 times a year since then. And then been to Hyper Japan a lot of times as well. Hyper Japan's a good convention. It's a fairly new one in the UK though. London Film and Comic Con. I've been to Fanime in San Jose. That was fun. I've also been to Sakanime in Sacramento. That's fun. Yeah, been to a lot of conventions. Do you think the Captain Marvel movie will be good? I will judge it when it comes out. That's all I'll say. I don't like saying to myself that this movie is going to be so good before it comes out because I don't know. I don't know. And then I hype myself up and then I can only be let down. What was your reaction to the Ant-Man movie? I don't think it's out yet, is it? Again, I'm not judging it anything until it's out. You said you like to do comics on death. I can't write death though because Neil Gaiman won't let anyone other than himself write the Endless, which is a shame. But I respect it because it's what he wants as the writer, the creator of those characters. Besides the Titans, what's your favorite comic series? Doom. If I can't choose Young Justice from the 90s, I'll choose the Doom Patrol. Grant Morrison's running the Doom Patrol specifically. Because I'm not a fan of like any of the other runs of the Doom Patrol, other than maybe like the 60s Doom Patrol. But Grant Morrison's running the Doom Patrol is, for me, it's legendary. Like for me, that comic is iconic. What do you think about the anime Sailor Moon? I know more about Sailor Moon than I care to admit. I've rewatched the anime at least like from start to finish at least once a year, every year for about the past 5 or 6 years. So I really like Sailor Moon. It's moving fast. Do I read indie comics? Yes. If so, which one would you recommend? Wayward. Go out and read Wayward right away. Wayward was so good. Or is so good. Uh, do I like the new 52 Teen Titans? Here's the thing. Lobdell's Titans was just it was safe. it didn't do the job of the Titans. It was very safe, it didn't push the boundaries, and it didn't expose what teenagers are actually like. It was an adult that was saying, this is what teenagers are like, which isn't true at all. I remember being a teenager, and I remember skipping school, getting on the train into London. Then when we got to the train barriers where you have to like scan your ticket, since we didn't bother buying tickets, we jumped over the barriers while the security wasn't looking, and then darting it out of London Victoria train station. This was about 5 or 6. It could easily be 7 years ago now. Oh God. But yeah, it felt like an adult saying, this is what being a teenager is like. Oh, isn't this fun? And where's the sex? I'm sorry, but when I was 17, like, as quite a few of those characters, 16 through to 17, all of my friends around me that were similar ages were like having their first sexual experience. That's what, maybe it's an English thing, but that's what happens over here in England, at least. Where is that? That was in the old Teen Titans. That was in the Marv Wolfman and George Perez Teen Titans. So why wasn't it in this new Teen Titans? Because there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on that I was unhappy about. Like, if you write the Titans, you've got to reflect what actual teenage life is, plus being a hero on top of that. You can't just be like, this is what being a teenager is like. I'm on fleek, kids. Yo. Like, that's what it felt like reading. It felt dated. Like someone that didn't understand what being... Do you miss being a teenager? Not at all. No. No. Oh God, no. Faust, what's the most embarrassing thing that happened to you? It actually happened. It's not technically embarrassing because I don't really feel shame. But it was, okay, there are 2 things, and they're both fairly recent actually. So the first one of these things happened on Boxing Day last year, which for all of you Americans, I don't know if you celebrate America in, no, don't know if you celebrate Boxing Day in America, but Boxing Day over here is the day after Christmas. And I got I got a Kindle for Christmas, and I wanted to go and get a couple of Amazon Kindle cards so I could buy books off of it, because I hadn't linked my credit card to my Amazon account by that point. And so I decided to go to the local supermarket, get a couple of Amazon cards, hook that up to my Kindle. And I went to the supermarket, and my body was like, oh, you need to use the toilet. And I was like, oh, the toilets here are really dirty. I'll just hold it till I get home. I was walking home, just sort of listening to music, walking down the street, singing along, you know, like holidays, celebrate. And then I was just walking along, and then my body told me something. I was like, what's going on, buddy? I felt like something rumbling in sort of my lower stomach. And it was my body telling me, you are going to shit yourself right now. And I tried holding it, but I had so far to walk home. The thing is, I was halfway back from the supermarket, so I was like, I'll hold it. I'll hold it. I'll get home, and I'll hold, and then I'll be there. And I was walking, but then I came to a really steep hill that I have to go up. I was walking up this hill, but because it was so steep, I eventually, like, halfway up, like, why live in this masquerade anymore? I'm going to shit myself. Yes, I can, I shall, I will, I shall poop. And then I shat myself, walking home. Thing is, I forgot I was wearing white jeans. It wasn't good. And when I realized I was wearing white jeans, I kind of backed up against a wall. I called up my mum. And I was just like, Mum, you won't believe what I've just done. She goes, what did you do? And I went, I'm on my way back from Sainsbury's and I've just shot myself and I'm wearing the white jeans. And she refused to pick me up. So I had to walk back home with this brown mark on my jeans. That's first of my two most embarrassing stories. Yeah. And second is more recent thing where I was at London MCM Expo, and probably the London Docklands, which is where the London MCM Expo is held, has like, I think it's the River Thames, but then on the other side of the river, you can kind of see in the distance this dome-like building that's got a bunch of spikes sticking off of it. And I looked up at my friend Kat, and I looked back out of the building, and I go, Kat, this might be a really stupid question, but what's that dome-like building over there? And she kind of looks at me and goes, do you mean the Millennium Dome? And I went, well, and she goes, or the O2 Arena? And I go, yeah, probably. And then she went over there and she went over and told all our friends about this really embarrassing thing that I did. Will you ever go on Omegle and surprise some of your fans and chat with them? No, I don't use Omegle anymore. No, I kind of grew out of the Omegle phase a few years ago. I just went to go get something to eat and I came back in the middle of this story. What the hell? I'm trying to figure out a way to like write that story so it fits into my stand-up comedy. Fitting that story in stand-up comedy is difficult though. Okay. Why don't you like Jason Todd? I like Jason Todd. I've never said I don't like him. Do you like the band Ladytron? No, I've never heard of Ladytron. Would you prefer DC and Marvel writers should be mixed from ages from 18 to adults, so we can get a realistic portrayal from all ages? I don't think it's necessarily age that matters, of the age of the writer that matters. It's the understanding of the age group that they're writing. And that just comes down to life experiences. I feel like, and also sort of like perspective in the world, I feel like I could write teenagers very well because I'm in my mid-20s, and that's kind of like sort of like refined. It's just like being a teenager, but sort of refining your points of view and stuff. At least in your mid-20s. So at this point, I feel like I could write. Making new friends and keeping in touch with old ones. Which is more difficult for you? I've never had lots and lots of friends. Yeah, I've never had lots and lots and lots of friends. But when I do make friends, I make very, very good friends. And as a result, I stay quite close to all of my friends, and I keep in touch with them, especially if I want them in my life for a while. It might be, I've kind of alluded to before, I've lost two friends to suicide. They committed suicide together when I was 16, which was very, very difficult for me because they were They were like kind of like the first two friends to ever tell me it's okay to be gay and that I should come out. Um, so that losing them was difficult. I think as a direct result of that, rather than like just not making friends, which was something I could have very easily ended up doing, I make friends, but then I'm always very scared that I'm going to lose them. So I make sure the time that I have with them is as good as possible. That I'm a good friend. That yeah. Why do you make YouTube videos? I started because I was unemployed and I had a lot of free time. And it became my job over time, which I wasn't expecting at all. But I'm happy. I'm very, very happy now. And I'm happy that I can do this full time. If you could rewrite one comic plot point that you don't agree with, what would it be? I wouldn't do that. I think that's insulting. I think I could amend it later on through retcons, but I'd never go back and rewrite because I think that's insulting. Do you think that there need to be more comics targeted to kids? There are loads of comics targeted to kids. They might not be in Marvel and DC, but those like extended universes with their own advanced things going on, they're not really made for kids. But, well, not anymore at least. They were back in the golden age, but we're not in the golden age of comics anymore. But there are loads of comics that are made with kids in mind. Like even the Tiny Titans is a title for kids. There was Batman 66 and Scooby-Doo released recently. That was for kids. There are Sonic the Hedgehog comics that are for kids. Archie, I think, is for kids as well. I've never read any Archie comics. There are loads of comics out there for kids. There's just not a lot in Marvel and DC, and I don't think there needs to be any in Marvel DC, honestly. What's the bear in the background? The bear in the background, his name is Chocolatey. He came with chocolates in him. I've got a lot of sort of cuddly toys on my bed because that's the type of person I am. Type that likes cuddly toys. And I want one of those alpaca cuddly toys. Why don't Sentinels go after Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man is not a mutant. He gained powers later on in his life. He was not born with them, thus making him not a mutant. Club Penguin is a bit after my time. And Moshi Monsters is way after my time. What comic book writer do you look up to the most? Grant Morrison, definitely. Yeah, Grant Morrison. Faust, if this is live, please notice this comment. Bit rude. Thanks for getting me into comics, especially Wayward. I love it. Will you do more about it in the future? Yes, I will do more about Wayward. Just like after the first few story arcs is finished. Because obviously I said, oh, I really like this first issue. This first issue was really, really good. Let's see how it builds. See how the quality goes along. Because it might just go downhill. It might become even better. What do I think of 2099 Spider-Man? I don't read Spider-Man titles, guys. There's the truth of it. I've been reading The Amazing Spider-Man, but I've never been one for Spider-Man titles. I like Spider-Man, but he's not my favorite hero. And it always kind of irks me when people say, oh, Spider-Man's my favorite character. Oh, what's your favorite comic of his? Oh, I've never read a comic. Like, well, then Spider-Man's not your favorite comic character. Point blank. Because unless I don't understand how you can say I like Spider-Man the most if you've never read the source material. That's just my perspective. You might disagree, but I think to have a favorite superhero or have a favorite comic character, you need to actually read comics. Did I get the DC All Access hosting job? I don't know. I really want it though. I don't think anyone will know until the 11th. at earliest. I really want it though. I hope I get it. Just keep tweeting at DC, telling them how much you think that I should get the job if you want to see me on DC All Access. If you did that, I'd be eternally grateful. How comes there is no history of Superboy or Donna Troy videos? Because I haven't made them. Yeah, I haven't made them. I'll get around to it eventually when I feel like it. There's actually no, the Superboy video, there is a specific few comics where he first appeared in that I thought I had, but I've clearly let someone borrow them and I don't have them anymore. Will you ever make a Draw My Life? I will make a Draw My Life when I hit 100,000 subscribers and not a day sooner. Will I ever publish my own comics anytime soon? I'm hoping to go through Dark Horse to publish my comic. So yes, hopefully, and I'm submitting it before the end of this year, and before my birthday, actually, because I'll be 20 years old, and that's a bit like my bucket list needs to start being worked on from now. One of my bucket lists is to have a comic published through Dark Horse. Will you ever do a history of video for the Saga characters? No. I don't think people quite get this about my history videos. They're not about characters like in individual titles that are self-contained. They're about characters in extended universes. Like the point of Marvel and DC is that they're extended universes, and the point that puts people off getting into them. So I do comic book history videos on those characters specifically to sort of help people get into it, which is why I don't think people quite get the point of my history videos when they ask me to do things like the history of Avatar: Legend of Aang. Like, that's a self-contained story. It's not yeah, that's a self-contained story. It's not like an extended universe, or as much as it's its own world. You don't get 60 windows into that world every month. You got like that one. Did I go to college? Yes. Did I finish college? By technicality, but I finished very early. Are you still submitting to Image with another comic? I still need to find an artist for that comic, but I also want to take a break from writing that one because I've been writing it for years, and I want to get that one right. And I feel like there was a point this year where the world was ready to hear what that comic had to say. World isn't ready again. So when the opportune moment comes up and the world is ready, I'll submit that to Image. Am I going to be 26? No. No. Are you a fan of the Avatar: Last Airbender movie? I like how bad it is. That movie's really bad, and I watched it with. I have good memories of watching that movie because I watched it with my best friend, and me and her just make each other laugh so much. And we were watching it, and we were crying with laughter. Yeah. How long have you been writing? A while, a long while. Like, I got into writing when I was about 14, but the thing about my writing is I never liked writing fan fiction. I never liked reading fan fiction, so that's like one part of writing that lots of people that say I want to be a writer, so I write fan fiction. Like, I never related to that, and I think it's benefited me because I learned how to world build and create my own characters, which is why when people say, so do you make your own original characters? It's like, well, of course I write. No, I just steal other characters and make my own story. Like, that's fan fiction, and I don't write fan fiction. If you do and you enjoy it, that's fine. I've got nothing against you doing what makes you happy. Just, I think if you really want to be serious about writing, try and avoid fan fiction. Like, that's just my perspective. Do you buy first-hand or second-hand comics from Amazon? I never buy second-hand from Amazon because you can never tell the quality. If I'm going to buy second-hand, I will get from my comic shop. Did you major in writing? Are you planning on working in a big publisher or do independent work? I'd like to work for DC or Marvel, but I didn't major in writing. From the ages of 11 till 18, I went to performing arts school. So naturally, it made sense for me to apply for performing arts in college and do writing on the side. That's all I will say on that matter. Do you ever look at your old videos and tell the difference between the old you and the person you are now? Totally. Yeah. Like, especially this past year, I've changed quite a bit as a person. A lot of things have changed in my personal life, how I kind of see the world and stuff like that. I've matured quite a bit. I've just kind of changed I've changed quite a lot in the past year. I don't really care what people think of me now, whereas like back then I definitely cared. Will you make the next Batman Eternal video? I'm not making Batman Eternal videos anymore. I thought everyone knew that already. Oh, I should probably check Twitter for questions. Do you like Legend of Korra? Do you prefer Last Airbender? I watched the first season of Legend of Korra and I didn't really like it. And there's the truth of it. Do you think that you could potentially write Clarion? Yes, I definitely could write Clarion. I think I don't like saying no. I won't say that I understand who Clarion is more than the current writer because that's not fair. But I will say I've definitely got my own perspective on Clarion that's very different to the current run, and I think my perspective on Clarion is a bit more traditional for who the character is. It's definitely a bit matches up with Jack Kirby and Seven Soldiers Clarion a bit more, as opposed to what they're going with now. Are you making any more Persona related videos? I'm making Persona news when there's news to talk about. Okay, a trailer is not news to talk about, and there's the truth of it. Because what would I say? Here's a trailer. Okay, bye. So when there's a good bit of news to talk about, I will make a video. Is Faust your real name? Yes, Faust is my real name. How do you take criticism if it comes from people whose opinion is important? Like, I take constructive criticism, and anything that's not constructive, I ignore. And that's just it's just kind of like very strict like that. It's because some people say, oh, I don't like this. Well, that's not constructive. And then some people say, your voice is this. That's still not constructive. Change this. Well, that's not constructive. Constructive is, here's the issue. Here's what this issue causes. Here is how you can fix this issue. Here is some supplies to fix this issue. That is fully constructive. Just telling me what's wrong with something is not constructive. That's just you trying to tear me down. Do you ever see yourself doing a Beast Boy cosplay? I was just wondering because you have the same figure as him. If you do, would he be red or green? My figure is changing. My chest has grown out quite a bit recently, and I'm a lot more broad. So it would have to be in the next month or two. I've got lots of cosplay plans. Like This month I'm doing Gender Bent Sakura from Cardcaptor Sakura. Then in December I'm doing Nova, as in Marvel Boy. In January I'm doing Wiccan. And I'm thinking Wiccan and Speed, because I really wanted to do Speed as well. And that's going to be expensive. February, I'm doing someone else, and that will be for Demon Con. March is London Super Comic Con, so I need to pull out all the stops for that. So there are a lot of characters that I'm already cosplaying. Can you read me a bedtime story? Okay. Here is a bedtime story about paper can cloth. Paper can cloth had a good friend called Liz Anya, and the two of them decided one day they hated each other. So Liz Anya killed Paper Can Cloth because his name was done, and Liz Anya is a much more catchy name. And then Liz Anya went shopping and also died. The end. And the moral of that story is everyone dies, and Paper Can Cloth is a bad name. I want to see a history of Deadpool? Well, there's already one up by Variant Comics, so you can go watch that. Do you have a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360? Yes, I have. And do you play or have you heard of DC Universe? If you mean DC Universe Online, I play it on PC. Can you do Iron Man history? Watch my video, more history videos, if you want information on why I haven't done an Iron Man history. Were you bullied of... No, I'm not doing history of Naruto. Were you ever bullied at school? Badly. I was beaten up till I was bleeding pretty much every day for 6 years. Yeah. Yeah, school wasn't fun for me. Whoever said school is the best years of your life, they were liars or they had it good. I didn't have it good. School wasn't fun at all. I spent most of my school years skipping school, and I still passed all of my exams at the end, and ended up getting some of the best grades that my school has ever seen. So, hair flip. What do you think about Frank Miller as a creator versus as a person? Well, I don't know Frank Miller as a person, so I'm not going to judge him as a person. Poor Paper Can Cloth. Why not poor lasagna? Do you have a Steam group? If not, can you make one? No, because my computer's broken at the moment, so I don't have. I'm not logging into Steam anytime soon, unless one of you wants to buy me a new graphics card. In which case, well, please do. I will have a Titan. Have you worked on your Robin costume yet? And also, why are you working on your physique? It's so hard to show in cosplay unless you use body paint. The point of editorial cosplay is body imitation, is to gain the same body as the character. It's not hard to show in cosplay if you're doing the cosplay right, which is a skin-tight outfit. There's the truth of it. If you're doing cosplay right, if you're doing superhero cosplay right, you should be showing your body. Or in terms of editorial cosplay. If you're doing a cosplay for fun, it doesn't matter what your body is. But if you're doing editorial cosplay and you're cosplaying a superhero, you should be showing your body by wearing a skin-tight outfit. Have I worked on it yet? No, because my body's still changing. My measurements are changing all the time, so there's no point. You should never commit suicide. I've lost too many friends to Are you going to do a Christmas special? Probably not. I'll probably take a week off for Christmas. I might do like a Christmas AMA or like a Christmas hangout because I'm not going out at Christmas. Demon pastas. I was kidding. Don't buy me a new graphics card. I've got my eyes on one, but it's £300. Was there a hobby you were really into for a while but grew out of? Dancing. As a kid, I liked dancing, and now I can't stand it. Have you ever been involved in a fist fight? I'm a pacifist, and I have been that way for as long as I remember. So I've never thrown punches at a person. And if someone chose to attack me while I was at school and beat me up, I just take it. Yeah, I would just take it. And I think that kind of just, personally, I think that just shows how I am as a human. Like, to this day, I respected that those people were alive and they did not deserve to be punched as much as they, for some reason, thought I deserved to be punched, which I didn't. But for some reason, they thought I did. And I just took it. And I'd rather they be doing that to me than they be doing it to someone that was in a worse situation than I was and making them feel even worse. Do you think you appear nerdy to the public? No. Because when I walk into a new comic shop, people are always surprised that I like comics. And there's the truth of it. I don't think I'm like the stereotypical comic fan, especially for males. I think, like, I've even walked into a comic shop before and they were surprised that, with a boyfriend at the time, not my current fiance, but with a different boyfriend, and people in the shop were surprised that there was a gay couple in their shop. Can you sing? Yes, I was classically trained from the age of 12 till I was like, I think I stopped when I was 18, but I didn't stop because I wanted to stop classical music, classical singing. I stopped because we couldn't afford it anymore. Why won't you make another Batman Eternal video? Because I wasn't enjoying making them anymore. I still like Batman Eternal, but I wasn't enjoying making the Batman Eternal videos. Guys, please don't spam things or post the same thing twice. I probably saw it, and if I chose not to comment on it, it's just because I chose not to comment on it. Nothing personal. But please don't spam things, because that's irritating. Sing to us, please. No. Let's check Facebook for questions. I didn't ask for questions on Facebook, actually. But it's saying I've got a notification. Faust, what do you think about the Inuyasha anime? I don't like Inuyasha, and I don't like Full Metal Alchemist either. I know they're like two classics that everyone likes, but I never got into them. I don't think they're bad. I just never got into them in the way other people did. And I think it's like the Star Wars situation. By the time I was old enough to get into it, the magic was just dead. So dead. When did you start to get into comics? Early 90s. Very, very early 90s. Do you have a teacher that you used to hate, but you can say now that he or she taught you something useful? No. Yeah, no. All my teachers that I used to hate, I still dislike. And all my teachers that I liked because I knew I was learning useful things off of them. Even if they were strict, I would have liked them because they were strict and I was learning useful things off of them. But then I was more aware of things as a teenager than I think most teenagers are. Because I had I was obviously a hormonal teenager that took things very hard and felt everything so intensely. I think every teenager is like that. Actually, my mum, I grew up in a foster home, but like my parents ran the foster home. It's not a foster home anymore though. It's just like a regular home for me, my mum, and my dad. And my mum said she fostered over 47 different girls that all had different mental problems, and they were all in their teenagers. But none of their angsty teenage selves matched up to me in my teenage years. I was more chaos than any of them, and I caused more trouble than any of them. So, yeah. Slightly crazy as a teenager, but I was also very aware of things, which probably didn't help the craziness. Are you going to see Avengers in May? Probably. What do I fear most? I mean, I'm not going to tell you my deep, dark fear, or like, because I don't like emotions, but my phobia that I've got, like my main phobia, is I'm scared of the dark. Don't like being in the dark. I even sleep with a netbook on next to me, just on its desktop screen, so I don't have to sleep in the dark. Do you still battle depression? And if you do, how do you feel? Guys, I'm not going to answer any more questions like this, actually, because it's getting depressive. It's getting sad. Has there ever been a comic that has offended you badly? Yes. What would I have as a last meal? Last meal? Something poisonous, so I could go out on my own terms. Hey, you're in UK. Yes, I am in the UK. What did I do on bonfire night? Well, Lewis Black, what I did on bonfire night is I stayed in and was serenaded by the sound of fireworks because I live in the countryside. So loads of people come out to the countryside to set off fireworks and was serenaded till 5 in the morning. So fun. So fun. And fireworks are going off right now, so I'm probably going to be serenaded till 5 in the morning again. Do you watch Nightmare Before Christmas on Christmas or Halloween? I watch Nightmare Before Christmas when I feel like watching Nightmare Before Christmas. It doesn't need to be Christmas or Halloween. Which magic-based users would you like to see working together? I'd actually quite like to see a Clarion Enchantress crossover. I feel like that could be quite interesting. Have you reached a goal you wanted to reach in life? If not, what will be that goal you'd like to reach? It's a silly goal, and it might not ever happen. But I was talking to a friend, I'm not going to name drop, who has taught, because most of my friends don't even know this person, but this friend of mine actually helps train Olympic athletes in springboard diving and gymnastics. And they don't, and I was talking to them, and I said, oh, I wish I'd started learning a sport from a child, at like the age of a child, but I was never really into that as a kid, so it's too late for me to ever enter the Olympics. And she turns around and goes, no, it's not. And I went, what do you mean? She just kind of goes, well, you understand that your body doesn't stop changing until your body starts dying, which is about when you're 60. I went, okay. And she went, while it will be harder work to get to that level as an adult, it only takes 5 to 7 years to master a sport. If you dedicate your time to it, there is no reason why you couldn't become a later in life Olympic athlete. And I went, has it ever been done before? And she goes, yeah, a few times actually. And I went, has it been done in gymnastics before? And she went, not that I know of. And I went, what about diving? And she goes, no, that I'm aware of. I'm like, right, I'm going to become an Olympic athlete in gymnastics or springboard diving. And it's been like a life goal, and I'm starting gymnastics soon, so that'll be interesting. I'm not asking her to train me because I can't afford her. That is the truth of it. She'd make me pay, and it's just expensive. Can I tell you a fun experience that I've had lately? Not last week, the week before. No, it was last week actually. I went out to London to hang out with my friends from a butler cafe I'm on the committee of called Tea Prince, and we met up with them, and I had so much fun, and I got to see one of my good friends, Kat, and other people in Tea Prince are becoming good friends of mine, and we just had a lot of fun. We went to karaoke. I sang a few songs, including maybe Lady Marmalade or Marmalade. Lady Marmalade, doesn't sound right. But yeah, I sang a few songs, and it was a lot of fun, and I like seeing people from Tea Prince because we're all crazy, and, you know, we're all adults that like to pretend to be butlers. So, yeah. You've mentioned once that you were an occultist. Can you tell us about that? It's not that I was an occultist. I still am. I still like magic as a daily part of my life. Um, it's just what I was brought up in, and you know, part of that is to study other religions and world beliefs and to come to your own conclusions. And I've studied Christianity. I've studied Hinduism. I've studied Buddhism, Shintoism, like name a religion, I've probably looked into it. I've looked into tribal religions around Africa. Um, I've name a religion or a belief system, and I've probably looked into it in depth. I know the Bible better than most Christians, actually. And I've just concluded that, you know, while I am an occultist, I believe in spirits, I believe in fairies, uh, I believe in magic. I would never force other people to believe in that. And if they don't want to believe in what I believe in, that's fine. Because I believe that we all go to the same place when we die, which is going into spirit or going into whatever spiritual form that you were before, which is like a fairy or a spirit or a ghost, whatever you want to call it. I just believe we go back to that. And you know, and magic, it's hard to do. Some spells take hours, some spells take minutes. But either way, it's a lot of concentration, it's a lot of giving yourself up to it. But something I would like to say is the magic that I do is what you could consider white magic. You never take from the earth what you wouldn't give back. So you never do like an animal sacrifice if you wouldn't be willing to sacrifice your own life, which I'm not willing to do. You would never use magic to harm another person, but you can use magic to help another person. And all magic that you do is self-magic. So if you heal another person, by extension, you are healing yourself. And it's not like healing like broken bone, heal, but you can use magic to bring light into someone's life, if that makes sense. Or ease pain, but you can't get rid of pain. Nature has to do that, because nature does need to take its course. That's part of white magic. And it's also like understanding other magical practices such as Obeah, which does take animal sacrifices, and taking aspects of that which you can incorporate into your own form of magic. I've looked into Obeah, I've talked to people that practice it, I've talked to South American and African shamans before. It's, you know, it's all about sort of finding the practice that works best for you and understanding things around you in terms of belief. And at the end of the day, understanding that magic is just the act of bringing belief and will into reality. When did I get into magic? I was raised in it. Green Arrow comics. I've never really been into Green Arrow, honestly. I want to be. I feel like I should be. And I pick up his comics quite a bit and feel like, right, I'm gonna like it this time. Yeah. No. And it just never sticks. Never sticks. Are you enjoying the series Gotham? If so, are you watching the series Gotham? If so, are you enjoying it? I wasn't enjoying it in episode 1. Episode 1 made me go, no, not again. But then from there, it's just kind of like built up and up and up, and I'm quite enjoying it. I'm enjoying it now. I'm intrigued. It's definitely not my current favorite TV series, but I'm intrigued to the point that I'm going to keep watching. Keep watching. What camera do you use to film your YouTube videos? I use this camera back here. Hold up. Let's see if I can point it myself. Get the webcam view up. Oh, I was already pointing at it. That is a skill. I use this camera here, which is the Canon 650D, and then I use a Sony lav mic that cost me £500. My microphone was more expensive than my camera. But I think for my birthday, my parents are actually getting me the Canon 70D, so I'm really excited about that. I need a new camera. Don't know what my hair is doing. I look weirdly like Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. I just realized that. Are there any webcomics you like? Yeah, are there any webcomics that I like? I don't like ongoing series webcomics because I can never get into them, but I like short webcomics, like the one page. So I like Awkward Zombie, XKCD. I like VG Cats. It's funny, most of the webcomics that I like are related to video games. Did you ever pick up BlazBlue like you said you would? No, I couldn't afford it. I haven't bought any games this year other than my Final Fantasy. Well, I bought a few games this year, but most of my money's gone to my Final Fantasy 14 subscription in terms of games. I really want Bayonetta 2. If anyone's going to get me something for my birthday, it's December 7th, by the way. Get me Bayonetta 2. Kidding. Do I ever feel insulted by Final Fantasy, Harry Potter, or any other works of fiction when they use magic? No, because magic is old, and I think that just kind of proves how old it is. It's like pre-Christianity. It's pre most other religions, and for people to just be aware of it and to want to use it and stuff, it's almost an honor in my point of view. Will you ever to move for some time to the USA to work in your passion for acting, for writing, acting, or making my videos? I want to move to America, actually, mostly because my fiance is American, but also like, I don't know, I'd be more than happy to move to America. I'd be there in a heartbeat if I could, but like moving to America is yeah, moving to America is difficult from the UK. It's difficult from anywhere. Okay, click. Let's see. Okay. Never mind. I thought there was new things, but there wasn't. What was your favorite season of RuPaul's Drag Race? Oh, that's a hard one. It definitely wasn't season 6. Season 6 was okay, but in comparison to previous seasons, it was a bit lackluster. Season 4 was really good. Let's face it, season 4 had the most diverse amount of talent in it. Season 3, I really enjoyed. Season 5 was really good as well. It's between season 3 or season 5, if I'm honest. Like, season 4 had Willem in it, and that's what kind of made season 4. But after Willem kind of was kicked off, the season just kind of died a bit. For me, at least. Do I look up to any other YouTubers? Well, like I've said before, I definitely look up to the editing style of Comic Book Girl 19. Other than that, I don't look up to any other YouTubers as a person because I want to do my own thing. Which Blue Beetle do I like the most? Blue Beetle's not a big deal for me, so whichever. How much more money do I need to make better history videos? Well, let's go to my Patreon and figure out patreon.com. My profile. Need my calculator up. I need calculator 1700 minus 392. I need $1,308 for every 2 history videos that I make to make bigger and better videos. Faust, what's your favorite gem? Mine's Blue Sapphire. Rose Quartz. Rose Quartz. I love Rose Quartz. Don't know if anyone's ever seen, but I always wear this Rose Quartz crystal. I haven't taken it off in unless I'm working out or swimming. I don't take it off. And I got it when I was 8. And this is the same chain that I got back then as well. I love this crystal. Do you like the casting choice in that Warner Brothers is making in the DC universe? I just wish that they would cast more no-names in their main cinematic universe. Just more no-names. Do you like Pokemon? Yes, and if so, what's your favorite generation? Generation 3, honestly. Do you have a Wii U or an Xbox One? You could have both. But I have a Wii U. I don't have an Xbox One, but I could have both. But do you believe those American stereotypes? I didn't, honestly. I didn't. And then I lived in America for 6 months, and now quite a lot. And I found, well, not everyone in America is like that. Quite a lot of them are true, unfortunately. Which maybe was the area that I was staying in. I was staying in a... Yeah, I can understand why you would hate that, hate being typecast as a fat slob because you're American, but then surely it's up to you to make sure that you're not that stereotype in your person, and to encourage others around you to not be that stereotype as well. What is RuPaul's Drag Race? I've heard about it, but I still don't really know what it is. RuPaul's Drag Race is the greatest concept of a TV show in the world. It is a reality TV show where they get a bunch of drag queens and enter them into competitions, and there's challenges every week. But one week it might be a singing competition, another week it might be a sewing competition, another week it might be a dancing competition, it could be an acting competition. It's different each week, and it just shows pure raw talent as opposed to specialized talent in each section. And it's so good. And they're drag queens, and it's amazing. And I think everyone should watch it. What hair dye do you use? Depends on what color. For the blue, I was using Rusk in blue, and then for the red, I was using Ion in coral red, and then for this, I used Whaaaat in silver. But it's Wellaa's Color Brilliance. I think that's what it's called. But then also to get, but the Whaaaat one is a blue silver, and I wanted it like a purple silver. So I'm using silver and conditioner to just kind of get into the shade that I want a bit. What Marvel or DC movie are you looking forward to? Okay, so from DC, it's Wonder Woman all the way. I love Wonder Woman. And then from Marvel, I was so excited to see a Captain Marvel movie. And it's going to be Carol Danvers. It's going to be Carol Danvers. I'm really looking forward to that. Do you think the Marvel Phase 3 movies are overly ambitious? They don't. The Civil War movie, I think, is worrying. But from their track record, they're going to pull something off. So they're going to pull something off. Who do you think got the biggest snub on RuPaul's Drag Race any season? Pandora Box. She should have won season 2. And I hated her edit on All Stars. Like, that was clearly editing that made her look like a bitch. Like, I do think she should release a t-shirt that says, "Oh my god, Miss Congeniality." I won't say the next word because it's one swear word that I know lots of people find offensive. It's the only one swear word that I'll think about saying before I say it. Just the only one. Do I have any piercings? Yeah, right here. I got my ears pierced. I want to get up here pierced, but with like 3 piercings going along there. It's a lot of work. Okay. Where did I get my Robin t-shirt? It's from a place called superherostuff.com. It was a gift. Most of my t-shirts are gifts because I don't wear like normal t-shirts. As you can tell from this fine specimen of a jacket right here, my fashion is a bit different to how I dress in my videos, and a bit more luxurious and over the top. But because my history videos are about like educating people, I want people to feel comfortable. So I just tone down my fashion style so they can feel as comfortable as possible. But because of that, I have to like cycle through like the same 4 or 5 t-shirts because I don't have many t-shirts. Click. Okay, click. Someone posted on my timeline. Okay, never mind. Do you wear tall t-shirts? I wear a size small because I like my clothes to be tight on me, but an American small is actually a UK medium to large, which is kind of annoying because a lot of the superhero t-shirts have to come from America. So no clothes from America I've ever gotten are like really like fit me in the way I want them to fit me. How long have you been reading comic books? You have a good knowledge of comic book history. Yeah, I do. I don't mean to sound braggy like that, but it's something that I dedicate my time to, and I don't mind admitting. Like everyone has skills that I think they are more than happy to admit about themselves. I've been reading comics since the early 90s, and I have dedicated a lot of time to comics, and I love comics. Faust, are you okay? It's Faust. It's spelled in all the description of my videos like Faust, Faust. But yeah, no, I'm not sick. I haven't been sick in a few weeks. Record for me. I get sick quite a bit. I'm not sick at the moment. I'm just really thirsty because my Red Bull ran out. And Red Bull dehydrates me really badly, so after this is over, I'm going to go get a drink. Infected Sammy J, I'm in my mid-20s. That's all you need to know. How long does it take you to prepare for a history of video? 3 to 7 months. Like, that's not even a joke. 3 to 7 months. It depends who the video is about. But generally, yeah, 3 to 7 months. Am I getting Batgirl number 36? Yeah, I really like number 35. So Faust, like the opera. Faust, like the man that sold his soul to the devil to have ultimate knowledge. Is there a color pattern that you'd never wear? Yeah, but I'd have to see it. Yeah, there's fireworks going on outside. It's like bonfire. It was bonfire night the other day, which means it's bonfire month in England. Just kind of how it works. What characters from comics industry after 2000 have gained the most popularity? Batwoman, definitely. Yeah, Batwoman, definitely. She's the most popular character from like 2005 onwards. In terms of like characters created around then. What do you think of the Spider-Verse stuff so far? I'm loving it so far. It's alright. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. There's the truth of it. But it's alright. I'm enjoying it. I'm not hating it. Okay, guys, we got 20 more minutes, and then this is going to be over. So 20 more minutes. When it comes to magic, do you have a mentor? Like, I did, but don't need that anymore. It's magic with a CK. What's your favorite spell? Spells don't work like that. It's not like here's a specific thing. It's rituals. It's not like a spell. It's rituals. Okay, so Bonfire Night, Anime Cat 33, is a night where a man called Guy Fawkes and his friends tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament in London, but they were caught. And we celebrate them being caught by creating bonfires and putting like a scarecrow in the middle that looks like Guy Fawkes and sort of burning him, and then we set off fireworks while he burns. What time is it for me? It's 8:40 p.m. Or Guy Fawkes is the man that invented forks. Like the guy that invented forks. Whatever you choose to believe. I think the second one is more believable, honestly. I always kind of used to get really irritated with V for Vendetta, like the movie, because so many of my American friends liked V for Vendetta, the movie, but then like I'd explain to them, like, remember the 5th of November is like an actual rhyme that I grew up knowing. It's not just like a fun movie thing. Like, that was a nursery, like not a nursery rhyme, but that was a rhyme that all children knew while I was growing up. And then I'd have to explain that bonfire night is a thing that we actually celebrate here, and some of them actually didn't believe me, the rude bastards. What is the most difficult video that you've ever made, and why was it so difficult? Probably my history of Tim Drake, because I like Tim Drake so much, so I wanted to get it just right. So I filmed it once, and then my camera wasn't on the right lighting setting, so I refilmed it all again. And that video took at least 2 to 3 hours to film each time. So I filmed it again. But then the second time I realized I forgot to put powder on, so my face looked really shiny. So I filmed it again, and then I realized I put on my mum's powder instead of my powder, so my face looked dark and it looks like I was doing blackface. So I had to film it again. And then when it came to editing, Premiere wouldn't export it. So I had to convert all of the video files and re-edit it. And it was just not a fun time. Would you ever cosplay as Quentin Quire? No, because I don't like his outfits that much. Do you like the Graveyard Book? I liked the Graveyard Book, but it was the same as an idea for a book that I had for a long time. Like a long time. So I'm a bit bitter that it was released before I got to write it, but I like what was done with it, so. Faust, if you were given a free plane ticket to go to anywhere in the world, where would you go? Japan. I really want to go to Japan again. Magic's not the type of thing that you just kind of get into. It's something that comes to you if you're ready. And if it's right for your life, that someone will bring it to you. Have you seen Repo, the Genetic Opera? Sounds familiar. Yeah, I'm not answering the questions about Saga because I've already answered it, and I don't really want to repeat myself because I gave quite a detailed explanation earlier. So there's that. Do comics from DC and Marvel come out the same days, or at least here in America? Worldwide New Comic Book Day is Wednesdays, like for the entire world. Same in every country. Videos are every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So yes, there will be a new video tomorrow. Thought on Tolkien's works. All right. I'm not really into hardcore like fantasy. Like here is an ogre and here's this and here's like that. Unless it's about fairies, in which case I'm really into it because I really love fairies. But yeah. Excited for Persona 3? Persona 3 has been out for a long time now. I'm excited that it's been out for a long time now, but didn't feel anything towards it until he brought it up. Fireworks going off in my neighbor's garden. They're seizure-tastic. I don't have a comic book store near me and want to buy cheap comics. Where should I look? I mention in so many videos that people should go to mycomicshop.com if they want to get into comics. Any collaboration on the works of another YouTuber? No. Because I don't live near any other like comic book YouTubers, and I don't really know anyone from the UK YouTube YouTube community. And even if I did, like, it would make no sense if there was me, a comic book YouTuber, like collabing with Emma Blackery. It just wouldn't like make sense. It would be fun because she seems like a nice person, but it wouldn't make sense. So unless I get out to LA, I wouldn't be collabing with any other comic book YouTubers. How much time and effort does it take to color your hair multicolor, like blue and it was blue and red, not blue and pink, but thanks. I'm digging it so much. Well, the blue and red took, because I couldn't do that on my own because it was like a direct split down the middle. So I had to get my mum to help do it. And it took about an hour in total to put the color on. And then I have to wait another hour while that sets. Whereas this, because I can just do it on my own, I literally can just, and because it's just one color, it's literally just a case of mixing up the dye, putting it on my head, sitting down for about an hour, and then washing it out. So blue and red took about 2 to 3 hours, and this took about an hour. It's super effective. Can you do a video about Batman Beyond? No. I'm not a fan of Terry McGinnis. I don't hate him. I've got nothing against him. I just don't particularly like him. Well, it's not that I don't like him. I do like him. I just don't. There's no passion there for me when it comes to him, if that makes sense. Yeah, not enough passion. That's the right phrase. There's just not enough passion. Who is your favorite Green Lantern? My favorite Green Lantern? Oh, Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan. Yeah, they do sound like someone's getting shot, but guns are illegal in England, so they're not someone getting shot. Doesn't the white, silver, blue fade really quickly? Not if you use good quality dye and you're willing to spend out on it, which I am. If you get cheap dye, of course it'll fade quickly. Especially if you're one of those people that gets dye, then mixes it with conditioner, and then expects that to last. That will fade crazy fast. If you just put the dye out of the bottle into your head, that will last forever. Crazy Rhino says, hi dude, love your vids. Thank you, dude. Well, Crazy Rhino. Kudos to your Teen Titans issue video. It was really epic. A good setup and everything. Any plans on doing that again, maybe for Injustice? No, I'm not doing it for Injustice. There was plans to do another one. I can tell you it was for the Young Avengers. But I have no plans to do it at the moment. There were issues. And I can only do it when I've got the house to myself. Because that setup takes up a lot of room, and I need to know that there's going to be absolute silence in the house. And for that, I need to make sure I've got the house to myself, and it's rare these days, which is why I'm hoping to move out within the next year, so I can just kind of have a better setup. I really want to have like an actual set I know in my mind's eye what it's going to look like, and it's going to look amazing. But it's just going to take a little bit to get. Who would win, Batman or Superman? Why would they even fight? Did you make your hair like Quicksilver on purpose? When I saw it, reminded me of Quicksilver or Speed. No, but thank you. No, I've had silver hair before and I really liked it. So I was like, wonder what I'd look like with silver hair now that my features are all sharp, and because my features have gone from being quite soft to sharp, and yeah. Well done on 50,000 subs, thank you. Have you seen Soul Eater? Yes, I have. I'm not a fan of it. Quite a lot of my fans are fans of it. The only part of it I really liked was Excalibur. Excalibur. From United King, I am looking for him. I am going to California. I always find it funny when people call me super effective. Because or super, or anything to do with super effective, because my name is Faust. People can still get guns illegally. Yeah, people do, and people get arrested very quickly for possession of guns in the UK. As much as people can get them illegally, our police force is very good at cracking down and stuff like that. And also socially, people tend to tell on gun dealers a lot. Drug dealers, not so much. We've got drug issues here in the UK as well. Don't think we don't. We've actually got, I think, worse drug issues than the US, actually, in terms of heroin intake. But yeah, in terms of guns, socially, we are a country that's very against guns and very for gun control. So if anyone gets caught being a gun dealer, chances are they will be arrested in days, and that really stops people from wanting to deal guns. Is Faust your real name? Yes, Faust is my real name. What's your favorite DC TV show at the moment? It's between Constantine and Gotham. Probably, I'm leaning more towards Constantine because it's a bit weird, and I like weird. Bye, Blue Vortex 9. It was nice having you here. What's the drug policy in the UK? Very illegal. If you get caught dealing them, you're the scum of the earth. If you get caught doing them, the hospital isn't against you doing them. They are there to help you if you OD. Police in the UK are very scary. But also, police in the UK, when they catch someone, are very scary. Finding people are not so good on their own. Why did you choose It's Super Effective as your channel name? Pokemon X and Y just came out and it was fresh on the mind. That's it. That is the hopeful answer. What's your opinion on the Flash's outfit on the TV show? It's the worst superhero costume done ever. Faust, what's your last name? You'll never know. My stage name is just Faust. That's all you need to know, Faust. Do you play online games on stream? I play Final Fantasy XIV on the Phoenix server. I got a Let's Play of that. But no, I don't stream. I was thinking of streaming, but I wanted Twitch partnership so I could a bit of cash while I do it, because I don't have much free time. If I'm going to use some of my free time like that, it's going, you guys can understand, like, time is money kind of thing. And I looked into it, and to be a Twitch partner, you need at least 100,000 YouTube subscribers, or to have quite a large Twitch fan base. And so I'm going to kind of wait till I've got 100,000 YouTube subscribers if I ever get that, and then might stream. Guys, these who would win, this character or that character, my response would always be, why would they fight? They're both kind of characters that ones at the side are good. Updates on Becoming Robin. Well, as I said earlier, I have these, which this is a singlet, and this is a singlet, and this is stirrup pants. They are for starting gymnastics soon, which I'm looking forward to a lot. Like a lot. That's something I wanted to do for years, and that's going to be part of Becoming Robin. My Sakura cosplay, I'm starting work on tomorrow. And that's going to be interesting because I've only got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get that done, but I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be hard. Yeah, and the next episode is going to be at the last day of November. What do I think of us and your fans and subscribers? I don't consider you guys my fans, because I associate fans with celebrities, and I don't consider myself a celebrity. But subscribers, I'm thankful that you pay attention to me. When in the world did you bleach your hair? Like the first time I bleached my hair, I was like 13. Or was I 14? 13 or 14. Do you do histories on the A-list characters or B to C-list characters? I do B-list and below. Can you show us your singing voice? No, I've been ignoring that question intentionally. Just because you put it in capital letters doesn't mean it's going to be paid attention to. Do you think Batman is overrated? I think he's way overrated. He sells the best at DC at the moment, so it makes sense to make the most titles around him. Eventually people get sick of him and move on to Superman, and then they'll move on to Wonder Woman, whatever's hot at that time. Okay, we got 5 minutes, guys. Make the questions good. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Let's check Facebook. Right, let's check Facebook. Checking Facebook. Okay, that's not a good question. I've already answered that one. Never mind. Okay, back to YouTube. Back to YouTube. DC versus Marvel. Who's making better stories in 2014? First half of the year, Marvel was definitely strong, but it's looking like DC is going to end strong. How do you handle the haters and the people who bash in the comments? Like my rule on that is very simple. I can ignore pretty much anyone if they just do it as a one-off. But if they're repeatedly making me feel like less than a human, they're banned. Can we add you on Facebook? I have a like page, but unless I know you in person, you cannot add my personal profile. So there's my rules on that. Do you think there will ever be another Flex Mentallo comic? No, I don't, actually. He's not that big of a character, and I feel like everything that needed to be said from him was said in that one comic. And if he was sort of brought back, it would be a waste. Do you think that you could pull off a Joker cosplay? Not at all. What part of Scotland do you come from? I am from a part of Scotland originally, because I've lived in England for a good long while now, but I'm from part of Scotland called Lennoxtown, which is, I believe, close to Glasgow. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is where I'm from originally. What's your favorite thing about Tim Drake? The core of his character. I love the core of his character. It's kind of what I aspire to be. And it's kind of what I've become very over the past year, especially. I feel like obviously I can still improve as a person, but I use that core of his character to better myself, the good points. If you could make a candle that smelled like anything, what would you make it? What would you make it smell like? Hmm. Really let it smell of peanut butter. It's a peanut butter. Have you ever been to a Comic-Con? I've been to many Comic-Cons. Favorite Batgirl? Stephanie Brown. Will you get your friends to cosplay with you? That's the plan. It's difficult arranging group cosplays because you've got to rely on them, and I'm not one to like trust relying on people unless I know them very well. So it's difficult. It's difficult. Okay, one more question, guys. Make it a good one. I'm gonna wait until the lag stops, so you guys know that I'm said one last one good one, and then you gotta give me one good one. Well, that sounds weird, but you guys know what I mean. One good question. Okay, here's an interesting one. What's the best Comic Con to go to in England? I've been to Bedfordshire. I live in Bedfordshire, and I've always wanted to go to one. So for comic books, it's London Super Comic Con is probably the best one for like just pure comics. It's the biggest one for just pure comics. So London Super Comic Con. If you like anime and comics, definitely London MCM Expo is the best one for you. And also that one's got a bit of video games and movie stuff. So it's kind of like, and it's also got a YouTuber section now. So that one's actually become a pretty good all-round one, but it's definitely got a strong focus on anime and comics. And then after that, if you like more films, it's definitely London Film and Comic Con. But that one's kind of like very industry owned, and I don't really like the feel of that convention. I don't really go to London Film and Comic Con anymore. But if you like films, it's pretty good for you. And then, ooh, and after that, if you like just pure anime, Hyper Japan. Hyper Japan is a very good one. Anime and mangas, yeah. Okay, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching. My name is First. This has been Super Reflective. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more AMAs, and thank you for 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 of you is insane. That's half of 100,000. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And like 50,000, we got 50,000 subscribers in under a year. That's insane. So I'm genuinely thankful. and I hope you will all continue to support me in the way that you are. So thank you. I'm going to go edit tomorrow's video, and it will stay up all night. Thank you, and bye-bye.